So there we go. And what the heck? Why are things always so messed up? Hello! Hi, and welcome to Torn Book Club. This is our special post-Valentine's episode. and with me is Dina Kampmeyer, also known as Lady Steam 13 on Twitter. And she is here to chat books and love and romance with us.
Aw, that's romantic.
Okay, we see. I see Temple is here. Not sure what's going on with the Ustream chat. I can see. There's everybody. Okay, I see. I Stole the One Ring and Eva. And yay! Okay, so people are here now. So hello, Temple. Hello. I Stole the One Ring. Hello, Eva. And I'd like to I'd like to say one thing about Eva. She is the one who provided us with that amazing Torn Book Club artwork. Let me bring that up again. This
Gorgeous.
She provided it. She actually sent it to me in January as a fan art, and I was just so absolutely blown away by it that it took me way too long to contact her and say, would you mind if I use this as the official logo for the show? Because it was way better than that horrible Photoshop job that I did.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
It's gorgeous. And so she provided me not only with this, but also with alternate versions to use on the Facebook page, on the on the Twitter page, and on the YouTube page, and they all look fantastic. So, and I Stole the One Ring is loving my shirt. Thank you. This is
this is my shirt.
My direwolf shirt
And beer shirt.
It is.
It's my two geeky things.
It's it was something I got on a T Fury. One of my friends pointed it to me. Temple is asking if she should go to the Ustream page instead. And it looks like she is there now. Okay, so answers that question. Just so you know, I'm broadcasting and looking at the chats for both the Justin TV and the Ustream channel. So just so you know. But it looks like everybody's over on Ustream, so that's fine. I'll just, Justin TV is moving very slowly today.
It's all very modern.
Yes, it is. It is quite modern. That's also probably this really slow, stupid computer that I'm using to check the chats and monitor the stream, because everything looks fine on the big computer here, but that's the local recording. So with the book club, there are a few things that we do monthly on this. I went over it a little bit before we started, just to sort of bring you up to speed. But
sure.
But to let everybody else know, we have our Rewrite Tolkien. Oh, Kalasuri is in the chat! Yay! He's one of the founding members of the OneRing.net.
Ah.
Good to see you here, Chris. And Eva is loving the table arrangement. I meant to mention this stuff over here. This is my birthday haul, because my birthday was earlier this week, and so I had a big party, and Dina was there too.
Yay! Happy birthday, John.
Thank you. And people brought lots of presents, which really kind of surprised me. So yeah, I got a couple of these Lord of the Rings pop movies figures. I've got this is Gollum and this is Bilbo. I got a Star Wars intergalactic phrase book. Okay. hang on. Let me just kill the audio over there. And then I also got this Batman wallet, which was hilarious.
Do you like Batman?
I love Batman.
Okay, good.
I'm a huge Batman fan. What else did I get? Well, I've got a bottle of bourbon that's sitting over in the kitchen.
Let's break it out.
Nah,
Not after last night.
Nah. Well, last night you showed me. Dina had her housewarming party last night, which I went to, and Dina, you have the coolest glasses in the world.
Thank you. What you're gonna buy? Yes.
Yes, she's got these incredible. What are they like?
Highballs?
Is that their highball glasses? But they're Star Trek style. So like they've
etched glass.
They're like etched. They've got the Starfleet logo etched in there, and like I immediately was like, okay, I need to drink scotch in this so that I can be Scotty. And it was great.
And you can buy them on ThinkGeek if anyone's interested.
Yan is saying, and Josh especially like The Dark Knight Rises, right, Josh? Yes, I especially like The Dark Knight Rises.
I'm guessing you did not.
We had this discussion a few weeks ago.
Got it.
So we'll just move forward a little bit and talk about Rewrite Tolkien for the month of February, which we talked about last time, but to bring everybody up to speed on that. Since it is February and it's Love and Romance Month, our Rewrite Tolkien theme is Jane Austen. And that's going to be a fun one. We've started getting some good entries for that. And just to let you know, for the winner this time, since normally the grand prize winner for Rewrite Tolkien is read over the air, usually by me, but because it's Jane Austen, I thought we really need a female voice for that. And so I've been talking with one of my friends who is a voice actress, a really good one, and I'm going to try to get her in to read that particular entry live on the show.
Excellent. So
that should be fun. And she's a cool geeky person, and we're actually working together. Well, not together, but on the same show, the Katniss Chronicles, which is an unofficial audio drama adaptation of The Hunger Games.
Yay!
And right now we're recording Mockingjay. So like we're actually ahead of the movies a little bit. So
a barrel of laughs, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it's
very
tons of fun.
book.
Like I don't have many big roles in it. They're mostly small roles. Like in the first one, and I was I think he was the District 3 tribute. Thank you. The one who Cato kills after Katniss blows up all their supplies.
Yes.
So like basically the extent of my role was begging for my life and then dying.
Like most of the tributes.
Like most tributes, yes. Actually, most of them didn't even get that. Most of the tributes dying was just flump. And then I also did a lot of the voices for the mutations at the end.
Oh yeah, but that's a big one in 3.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, and they're scared too.
Yeah, like for the first one, like they're dogs, so they're like snarling and barking, and like a whole bunch of people came in to do it. But I guess I was the best one because I had a cold while I was doing it, so I sounded particularly snarly. So they used my noises a lot for that, and so they've asked me to do that again for 3.
To be very slithery.
Yeah, I've been working on my snake voice. So anyway, she's most likely going to be here for that, and then also we have our book of the month, which I announced last time, and hopefully many of you are reading it now. It's The Fall of Arthur by J.R.R. Tolkien. And I've been reading this one. It's actually not a very ponderous read. It's actually pretty fast. Like I'm already about a quarter of the way through it. It is an epic poem, so the style is a little... It's kind of pseudo-Shakespearean, but even more, like, in a more classical sense. It's very well done, and it focuses only on the last chapter, like, with Mordred's betrayal. It kind of starts there, and then goes through, like, as far as I've gotten, like, it's sort of developing the backstory of Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot, and everything that happened with them. And it's a really interesting and different take on it. But I'm curious to see where it all goes, because the big thing with the Fall of Arthur is that Tolkien was working on this, and then he kind of stopped so that he could focus on that Hobbit and Lord of the Rings thing. You know, that series that was never ever going to go anywhere.
Nobody likes that stuff.
So, but yeah, it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it so far. I Stole the One Ring is saying, shoot, I haven't started it yet. Don't worry about that. It's I found I went through it. I've been going through it a lot faster than I thought I would. So yeah, it's a much quicker read than I was expecting it to be. Like it takes a little while to sort of adjust your brain to the style and the language, but like if you've ever read Shakespeare, you kind of know that kind of adjustment you need to go through. Mm-hmm. Like whenever I read Shakespeare, it usually takes me at least the first few scenes before my brain adjusts to the dialogue. And so the last announcement I'm going to make is we have our Oscar weekend coming up in a couple of weeks.
No Hobbit, though.
Well,
Is there?
Hobbit's been nominated for 3 Oscars.
Okay, good.
And they're all technical awards, and honestly, I don't think it's going to win any of them. Which is unfortunate, but... okay. But we're still having a celebration. Not a big one this year. Like, not the big to-do that we've put on before. We're doing a more laid-back kind of gathering at the Cat and Fiddle pub where I had my birthday party.
Indeed.
So it should be fun. And then we're also, the day before, we're going to be doing Ringer Day in Disneyland.
Yay!
Which should be lots of fun. I love that Photoshop that Kathy did of Sleeping Beauty's castle as Barad-dûr.
It's going to be the geekiest place on earth.
It always is. Jan is saying, Icy Fire should have been nominated. I didn't like it at first, but after I saw the movie, I think it's perfect. Honestly, still, Icy Fire is not my favorite song from the Tolkien movies.
Yeah.
It's a fine song, but, like, honestly, like, if it had been nominated, that's all it would have gotten, because the Oscar is definitely going to Let It Go from Frozen.
Well,
that,
as it should.
That song is astounding, and the movie is, too. I love that movie.
I remember in the theater, there was, like, 6 people that both went, wow. When it was over.
Yeah.
It's like a universal reaction.
Yeah, that was the reaction I saw when everybody left the theater, and I saw it late, like after everybody had already been like screaming online, like, this is the most amazing movie ever. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go see it. And then I walked out and was like, wow, that was amazing.
That really was good.
And then everybody else was walking out going, wow, that was amazing. Yeah. And then, like, the same reaction is happening to the Lego Movie.
Which is a Warner Brothers product. I'm so happy. I'm going to go see it today or tomorrow.
Oh, cool. It's such a fantastic movie. I loved it.
I'm really looking forward to it.
I want to start the campaign now to have Will Arnett replace Ben Affleck as Batman in the new Batman Superman movie.
So why not?
Will Arnett was such a great Batman in that movie.
I've heard. Yeah, I'm super excited to see it.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to attend either Ringer Day in Disneyland or the Oscar party this year for a few reasons. For Ringer Day, I'm going to be recording my voices for the Katniss Chronicles. And on Oscar Day, I'm going to my best friend's wedding. that takes precedence. I'm sorry.
I know. Wow.
I know. So, let's see. What? Let me just check. The chat is going crazy over here.
I'll do a little dance while people.
Let's see. Sitting in the car listening a few days ago. I'm sorry if I missed anything from anybody. I guess Temple is talking about songs. I was sitting in the car a few days ago with two of the kids I nanny for, and we were listening to Let It Go with their mom instead of sticking her head out the window. They didn't want to go inside until the song was done. I totally get that, and I Stole the One Ring is saying it took me a while to like I See Fire, and I agree with that. It's still not my favorite song, but I definitely appreciate it more having listened to it a few times.
I don't remember it at all.
It was a little too poppy for my taste, but I will say there was this video that's been making the rounds on the internet of the guy who sang it, whose name always escapes my mind. Somebody in the chat will remind me what his name is, but he did it live with Taylor Swift. And it was actually a pretty good rendition of it.
Okay.
I mean, it's still not one of my favorite songs, but I really did like that performance of it. So let's talk a little bit about love and romance in the fictional world.
In the fictional world. Okay.
Okay. So I bring up the fictional world because there was a little bit of a controversy that happened online regarding Tolkien in particular. And I was going to write an article for The One Ring about this, but work just got way too cumbersome for me and I wasn't able to do it. But I wanted to at least talk about it a little bit for everybody who may have missed it. There was a new letter from J.R.R. Tolkien that went up for auction this week. And in it, he talks about the poet W.H. Auden, sort of criticizing the relationship between Aragorn and Arwen.
Okay.
Ed Sheeran is the guy who sang "I See Fire." Thank you. I Stole the One Ring. Jan is asking, did you like the song for Hobbit 1? I did. Neil Finn's song "Under the Mountain." That was a really good one. So anyway, W.H. Auden was saying that he sort of felt that the relationship between Aragorn and Arwen was unnecessary and perfunctory. Which, in the context of the story itself, I can kind of understand that because she only shows up in the books in the beginning and then at the end, and that's it. That's all you see of her.
But the books weren't about that relationship.
No, they weren't really,
So.
which is why he said it felt kind of unnecessary. But and the reason he brought it up was because this letter was when Tolkien was writing the appendices for Return of the King. This was Return of the King was in proofs with the publisher, so it hadn't actually been published yet. This was 1956, I think. Commercials are happening, so I'll wait a couple seconds. So, yeah, all right. That's good. Now I'll keep going. So he was working on the appendices, and of course he goes into much more detail with the history of their relationship in the appendices, and so he's sort of saying, I hope that this will convert him.
Interesting.
So one of the things that I wanted to pose to everybody else was, like, did you feel that Aragorn and Arwen's relationship was necessary? Was it just tacked on? Did you feel that it was helped in any way in the movies with fleshing out Arwen's character more?
Oh yeah, I thought it was great in the movies. I'm trying to recall in the books. I don't remember that relationship standing out to me in the books.
It really didn't, because she only shows up in Fellowship when they're in Rivendell, and she's just kind of like off in the corner.
Yeah,
she doesn't really say
standing
anything.
Out in general.
Yeah, she just sort of stands in the corner a little bit, like, and then in Return of the King with Aragorn's coronation, she shows up and they get married, and that's like it.
Yeah, I mean, in the books, to me, Eowyn and Faramir were way more.
And that was the other thing that Tolkien mentioned in his letter was Auden said that he liked the Faramir Eowyn business, which was that was how he described it, the Faramir Eowyn business. But I mean, W.H. Auden was never a big fan of romance. Like, even though like he wrote some really romantic poems, he didn't really like it too much himself.
Yeah.
But what was interesting was Tolkien was talking about how the relationship between Aragorn and Arwen is supposed to be an allegory for naked hope. Wow. Which I was like, I never really saw it that way. Like, either in the books, the appendices, or the movies. Temple is saying, I think it was rather simple in the books, but I think Tolkien tends to treat romance very idealistically without much detail.
Sounds right.
That's very true. And like the same goes for Eowyn and Faramir. Like, that one definitely felt like it almost felt like the two of them were getting like sort of a consolation prize. Like, because I mean, there was like sort of this like unspoken attraction, at least on Eowyn's part, towards Aragorn.
Absolutely.
Even in the books, I felt that it was there. But then, of course, he marries Arwen, and so then Eowyn marries Faramir, and it sort of feels like, okay, I guess you'll do.
He's beautiful. He's no consolation prize.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, that was the other thing that like kind of bugged me in the movies, was when Arwen does show up at the coronation scene. It almost felt like she was being presented to Aragorn as a prize. Like, which I know is like totally not the case, but like just the reveal of her being there was like
interesting.
Like,
I think I thought more like, oh, the father has finally gotten on board with this. I give you my permission, less a presentation than a
there was that too, but like at the same time I sort of felt like it was too much of like, with it happening during the coronation scene, I felt like it could have been. It felt more like she was being presented as a prize. Like, I would have much more liked to have seen that scene happen before the coronation, privately between the three of them. And, like, sort of have, like, that emotional moment where Elrond says, I accept this and I accept you, and you are a good leader, and I'm okay with this now. I
get what you're saying. I think it would have broken the flow of the
Probably.
film now.
Probably.
But they could have put it in the 10-hour extended edition.
They could have.
But the fact that they got rid of the Eowyn Faramir stuff in the movie made me so mad the first time.
Yeah,
I got over it the second time.
I mean, the Houses of Healing stuff between Eowyn and Faramir in the extended edition was fantastic.
Yeah, I also know that they filmed the wedding scene and they never even put it in the special edition.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's a shame.
I read people on set the day they did it, and they didn't even put it in the extended edition.
Oh, that's a shame. Let's see, what is Temple saying now? It also feels like people just pair off without much precursor. But then Tolkien apparently quickly fell in love with his wife. Well, that's true. He did have a very whirlwind romance with his wife. Okay. But, they stayed married their entire lives, so it must have worked.
He was very British. Their ideas of love are quite different.
No, this is true. But, I mean, at the same time, Tolkien never struck me as much of a romantic.
No, that was not the point of the books.
No. I mean, but then, you read, something like The Tale of Beren and Luthien, which I don't know if you ever have. It's a very tragic romance, because Beren is human, Luthien is an elf.
Oh, yeah.
And they fall in love, they have a whirlwind romance, but they can't be together because he's mortal, she's not. And so, their story kind of mirrors Aragorn's and Arwen's, with Luthien eventually sacrificing her immortality to be with him. So, there is some romance to Tolkien, just not a lot.
Well, and I mean, if we use capital R romance. I mean, Frodo and Sam are a beautiful relationship.
Oh yeah.
So
Absolutely. And yeah, I love the relationship between Frodo and Sam, and I've never liked people saying like, "Oh, they're gay."
Oh,
like,
no, that's not the point.
No, well, it's a wartime relationship. Like it's a very strong bond that's formed between these two people, which is something that. And I know Tolkien spoke lots and lots about how he never intended Lord of the Rings to be an allegory for war or his experiences in World War One. But at the same time, it would be impossible for those experiences to not inform his writing.
Absolutely.
And because he did have those relationships in the trenches in World War One. He lost a lot of friends during it, and I think it's like kind of impossible for that not to affect your writing many years later on down the line. Let's see. Temple is saying, I've been wondering about something lately. Much fantasy tends to be patriarchal, with women being treated more like marriage material than being capable of taking charge of their own lives. In fantasy fiction, probably, although I would say Song of Ice and Fire is probably like the biggest exception to that.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, some characters. I found that to be a very misogynistic series in general.
With some characters, but then like you see Daenerys.
But I don't think...
And her story arc.
Yeah, and Arya too, but you can't negate the fact that the other women in the books are just purely sex objects. And rape victims and... I don't know.
Well, there's Shay, who is a prostitute. But I felt like Cersei, like, she sort of played the game in order to get position and power.
That's for sure.
And, Marjorie Tyrell is kind of doing the same thing.
Well, they're so much better in the series.
They definitely are.
TV series.
Absolutely, yeah.
Much better female characters.
And I sort of feel like we'll have a big episode discussing Game of Thrones when the new season starts.
I can't
in
wait.
April!
I'm on book 4 right now, and it is so boring.
I know. Oh,
I'm a third of the way through, and I feel like nothing has happened.
Nothing happens in book 4. Well, stuff happens, but with characters you don't care about.
I was like, who are these people? Stop talking about them. Like, I don't care.
It's like whenever a chapter would start with, like, people from the Iron Islands, I would just like
or
immediately
like you don't even
tune
know their
it
names.
out.
I know.
Like the only character from the Iron Islands who I even remember as a character is Theon's sister.
Yes, who's cool.
Yeah, she's cool.
I like her a lot.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Let's see. Temple is saying, more often than not, the majority of female characters are victimized or marginalized. This is very true.
I wonder if part of that is because I feel like fantasy series usually are not rooted in a real past, but they always feel like they're in the past in an older society.
It feels like a lot of them tend to draw from like more medieval style stories, which are very patriarchal. I do kind of wish that they would sort of distance themselves from that and sort of try to forge their own path.
Yeah, have a different kind of society. Why does it need to be mimicking a real society? Do something new. You're in a fantasy epic.
Yeah, exactly.
So, some people do. Let's not say that no writers have done that kind of thing.
No, I would say that there are definitely stories out there that have done that, but I would agree with Temple that the majority still sort of, I don't want to say toe the line, but tend to kind of keep going with that old more patriarchal medieval.
Yeah.
stuff.
I would love to bring up The Mists of Avalon. I cannot get that book out of my head 10 years after I read it, and a perfect example of that. Like, talk about focusing on the female characters. And like now I read normal Arthur stories, and it's like, God damn it. That's not how it is. She's not evil.
That's one that I still have not read.
Oh, really? It's
I know.
good.
I know. It's on my list.
Yeah, highly recommend it.
I'm probably going to make it one of the books of the month just to kick my butt into reading it.
That's
kind of how I select the books of the month.
It's a big book, though.
I know. I might have to do that over 2 months.
Yeah. It's worth it, though.
So yeah, that's there's stuff like that in the fictional world, and but like beyond fantasy, like in sci-fi and other fictional stuff, like you've got our friend Sarah Kuhn. She wrote a book that was like about geek romance, didn't she?
Yeah, I mean, there is a romance in it.
Okay.
I wasn't particularly... Well,
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Actually, it's an interesting book, and it's about a con romance, basically.
Oh, con romance, okay.
So, yeah.
So, like, weekend romance, and then sort of goes away.
Kind of. Well, because it's a different world at cons. Everything's kind
totally
of
is.
heightened, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting read. And a very unusual female protagonist. She's kind of a little bit unlikable. I mean, it depends on what kind of person you like. But she's different. She's unique.
Okay, interesting.
Certainly. And not taken advantage of in any way because of her gender. I mean, she's a very strong person.
Well, I mean, that's like... That would be interesting because I haven't read it still. Okay. But I should.
We're talking about One Con Glory.
Yeah, it's called One Con Glory.
Okay. Sarah Kuhn.
And, like, I feel bad having not read it because, like, I'm friends with her.
It's very short.
I know.
I have a signed copy of it if you want to borrow it.
I know. I should just read it.
But no, I think sci-fi in general does a better job with female characters. I mean, again, it depends on what we're talking about.
Right.
Even something like Ender's Game. Like, there's a strong female warrior. Nobody ever talks about the fact that she's a girl. I mean, it's kind of just, like, a given in that society. Yeah.
And, like, that was, like, one of the things that kind of bugged me about the movie was...
the romance?
The movie, like, tried to play it up like a romance between Ender and... what was her name? Petra, yeah. Who I loved as a character in the books. And I think in the sequels, like, they eventually did get married.
Oh, really?
I think.
Okay.
I know Ender does marry somebody, and I think it's Petra. It might have been somebody else. But, I mean, the sequels is, like, basically Ender going through this crazy religious journey to try to absolve himself for what he did.
Interesting.
So it's like... It's very weird and very esoteric, and like I found it interesting, but it's so different from Ender's Game. Like it really takes a lot to sort of adjust to that.
I think my favorite portrayal of gender in sci-fi is still the new Battlestar Galactica series.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's such a fascinating look at a society where gender, sexual orientation means nothing. Nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, and what's funny is like how people were like so upset in the beginning because Starbuck was a woman now, and Boomer was a woman now. But like I didn't mind it, and like I still have friends who are angry over the new BSG.
Well, people will always have nerd rage over things.
Yeah, but it's like at this point, it's like, you know what, you got to give up the ghost. Come on.
Well, watch the old show. Nobody's taking away the old show.
Yeah, from you. I mean the old show is. I honestly, like, I find it kind of hard to watch.
Yeah, well, I don't watch it because it looks really cheesy. I'm sure it was amazing at the time.
I'm sure it looked...
A product of its time.
It's very much a product of its time.
Yeah. No, but Starbuck is one of the best characters ever created. And yes, I don't know anything about her being a male in the past, but she is Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah. Yeah, Katie Sackhoff was great.
Yeah.
And so...
And very flawed. That's something about female characters. They tend to be... Ooh. My goodness.
Yeah, that's
yeah, I think writers are oftentimes afraid to make female characters flawed because they do sort of represent something important for readers, and they're a little bit afraid to give them natural flaws.
Yeah, I
but
suppose.
It makes them better literary characters.
Yeah, like it makes them more relatable. Like exactly. you're not going to relate to an infallible character.
Yeah, and that could bring you back to Arwen. Like we don't know anything about Arwen. She's this perfect, beautiful creature,
and
we don't know anything about her.
Even so, in the movies, to a great extent, like she's not very flawed in many ways. Really, anyway, like she gives up her immortality to be with Aragorn. She hides it from her father for some reason, which I found weird. But like that, like, and this is like one of those like sort of weird nitpicky things that I discovered. The scene in Fellowship when after Frodo enters Rivendell and she's carried him over the river and she's wiped out the Nazgul. And then she embraces Frodo and sort of says this prayer over him, like, what grace has given me, let it pass to him, let him be saved. And what she was actually doing was, in that moment, she was giving her immortality, her elvish immortality, to Frodo.
Oh, wow. Missed that.
Yeah, because, like, that's what happens in the book. Huh. Like, she actually, like, not until the end, but she gives it to... she gives her immortality as a gift to Frodo for being the ring bearer, so that she can be mortal and be with Aragorn.
Wow.
Yeah,
I read the books, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while for me too, but
technical issues.
Technical issues.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is a very slow netbook computer that I'm looking at the chat on, so everything is going slowly and kind of jerkily. But we're doing what we can. I don't know if anybody's still watching it on Justin TV or if everybody's over on the Ustream page, but whatever. I've got it on both, and that's what people wanted. Oh, stop it, you. But that comes into like a nice transition into love and romance in the real world, the geek world, which is the closest thing to the real world most of us have. And I should mention that Dina here runs SGLA, Single Geeks of Los Angeles, which does lots of different singles events in LA. You had one a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. At Clockwork Couture.
Yeah, at Clockwork Couture, it was a singles gaming day. It was a lot of fun.
I like gaming days.
I love gaming days.
I think it's a way to do it.
Like, I go to them not to meet people, just to play games. But
I'm okay with that.
It's fun. I played what did I play? Munchkin, Flux, Dixit, Bananagrams. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Good.
But yeah, like you always put on such fun events.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
And you're also one of the founding members of the League of Extraordinary Ladies, which is another wonderful group.
Oh, I love our group.
I love hanging out with the League.
Well, we love our male counterparts.
Yeah. There are actually quite a few of us.
Yes, quite. Well, we're not. We don't have to only have ladies.
Well, yeah.
I would say we're at least a third male.
Probably, yeah.
Because if there's a guy that's willing to be part of a group called the League of Extraordinary Ladies, you are cool with us.
Cool. I'm cool. Yay.
I think you're cool.
Yay. Thank you. I think you're cool too.
Thanks, John.
All right. Now that we've had that little mutual appreciation thing happen. So, yeah, dating in the geek world is interesting.
That is an understatement.
Yeah. It's like, what is Temple saying? We need some events like that up in San Francisco. They probably are, but they're lame, and I haven't researched it yet.
Well, there may not be, though. It's kind of a thing. I don't know. I think there's a few problems. One is that geeks are becoming more mainstream, so there are less specialty sites. There are 2 geek dating sites, neither of which are great. And I don't. Yeah. It's not that they're not trying. I think there's not enough people on them.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
We were just discussing that before we started the show. Actually, yeah,
Soul
Geek, and Geek to Geek.
Geek are the 2.
And, yeah, I mean, I've been on both, and both are just kind of,
Yeah, I mean, you're more likely to find a geek you like on there, but dating is a numbers game, and there's not enough people on them.
Yeah, but
so I actually find more geeks on OkCupid.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I find more people who claim to be geeks.
Well, we could get into that discussion.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any fake geeks.
Well, I'm not saying fake geeks. I'm saying because I don't believe in fake geeks either.
Okay.
What I'm saying is people who basically self-describe as geeks and like basically talk about like they're into this, they're into that, they love this, they love that, and then when I try to engage them in conversations about that, they're like, yeah, I don't really care.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't found that. So.
Yeah.
Then again, I'm talking to guys and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's not like I wouldn't say fake. I would say maybe overselling.
Okay.
Because no, I don't believe in fake.
That's good.
I don't believe in fake geekdom. I believe if you're into anything in any form whatsoever, you're a geek, pretty much.
Everyone's a geek.
Like, I would make the argument that if you're really into sports, you're a geek for sports. Like, because really, you're not doing anything different than other geeks do. If you're into sports, like, you know the stats, you watch the games,
you cosplay as your favorite player.
You cosplay as your favorite player. like the only difference is the context.
That's true. And the violence.
Yeah. Although, there was that whole stabbing with a pen incident at Comic-Con.
Boy. Actually, I think it was a pencil.
Was it a pencil?
No, I can't remember.
I don't remember. Over a seat in Hall H.
Which, let's be honest, is stab-worthy these days.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't been into Hall H in years.
I don't think I've been into Hall H since Lord of the Rings days.
I remember when you used to be able to just walk in.
Yeah. Like, that was like the last time that I went, was like when you could just sort of casually walk in.
Not anymore. I don't do panels anymore. I mean, I moderate panels, but I don't go to panels anymore.
Yeah.
They're too stressful.
Eva is asking, what is the League?
We are a group of mostly ladies, but I think there's a lot of geek hate and negativity online, so mostly what we're out there to do is just create a very positive, safe space online. So we all just like geek out on stuff, but like no negativity. It's all about love and not about hate.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So we have a Facebook group that's like 1,500 members. It's getting quite large.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of LA events.
Yeah. Now, is it still a group that you can just join, or is it like invite or approval
it's
only?
Closed, so we do approve things because we're getting a lot of kind of spam. But no, it's open for sure.
Yeah, I know. I did notice that there was a lot of spam going on in the group for a little while.
Yeah, and actually on the San Francisco note, we would love, and we were trying to get local groups started. So we were trying to engage people to make friends in their local areas, and then that kind of thing can come from it. Like, I just started the singles thing in LA because I live here, and I wanted to help out, basically. So if someone wants to do that in San Francisco and start a happy hour group or something, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And if our site can help with that, please have at it. Or
Yeah.
create your own local groups. We actually have a lot of local Facebook groups now for different areas. And actually, San Francisco is an area that we don't have a big presence in. We would love to.
Yeah. And you guys do have an official website, right? It's like thelxl.com, I think.
We do, which nobody uses. Let's be honest.
Okay.
Mostly on the Facebook group.
Yeah. That's kind of how I am with the show. Like, I mostly use the Facebook page for the show to communicate. Even though I've got Twitter and I've got YouTube, I'm still mostly using the Facebook page.
Yeah, it seems to happen.
But yeah, I need to make an official site for it. But now that everything looks so nice and shiny with
shiny.
Eva's new graphics or her new artwork, like, I can't call that a graphic. That's art. That's freaking art.
Definitely art.
Let's see. Temple is saying, if you have a few people already up here, I'll work with them.
See, everyone says that, but then nobody wants to take charge. I get it.
Yeah.
We need, just somebody to take point, basically. We can check. Join the Facebook group, and there might already be, we make them LXL, San Francisco. I don't know if there's one of those yet. We can certainly create one and then get the ball rolling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of our co-founders lives up there, Bonnie Burton, so...
Oh, that's right,
I'm sure she can help out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she's pretty busy.
Just a little bit, being insanely famous. And
cool. I know. How dare she?
Putting googly eyes on everything.
I love that she puts googly eyes on everything.
Have I mentioned this new thing? Because there's this new punk trend of things. Like, I think we were talking about nerve punk.
Oh, yeah, all the different...
Coco punk. I want to do googly eye punk.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be so cool.
In fact, Bonnie and Ann Wheaton did this thing recently with this beautiful photo shoot with these gorgeous dresses. And they had, someone had put googly eyes on it as if they were sequins.
Oh, that's so cool.
Shoot. Gorgeous. But I want to do it with, a steampunk style.
That would be so fun.
I know. Someday, when I have nothing but time in my hands.
Someday, yes. So yeah. So that's, I guess, the LXL in a nutshell, pretty much.
No, we just geek out on stuff.
Yeah. And that's really what it comes down to, with romance and everything. It's just about socializing more than anything.
Yeah, well, I tell people that. I just did an interview, and someone asked, do I recommend online dating or dating in person? I was like, both.
Yeah.
Because, you don't know where you're going to meet somebody.
Yeah.
You have no idea. You can meet them at work. You can meet them on the subway. You can meet them in an LXL mixer at a craft fair. You never know. Go do all of the things. Go do what you love.
Yeah.
What you're passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And make friends. They might have a brother or a friend that they can hook you up with. Try everything.
Yeah.
Go live your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, don't feel like one tactic works better than another. Because, like that's the thing that I've always found with dating is that lots of people try to come up with, like, some foolproof system for it. And I'm like, dating is one of the most subjective things in the world.
Absolutely. Well, I'm discovering that now. Like, I have all these things that I want and need, and you have to compromise somewhere. You have to. Otherwise, you're going to be dating yourself.
Yeah.
Which is impossible, and I don't want to date myself.
Well, yeah. That's kind of where I am now. Like, I've realized that I have, like, this very long list of things that I prefer or need or want. And, I mean, I've been on my own for years now. And it's one of those things where it's like, you just sort of get used to it. And
the older you get, I think the harder it is to date for a variety of reasons. There's less other single people around. And you get really used to living alone and not compromising on things. You can do exactly what you want when you want.
Yeah.
And, like, who wants to compromise that unless it's something amazing?
Right. And that's, like, sort of where that's sort of the stance I take with it. Like, I mean, I know I make jokes about it, like, oh, women don't find me attractive, or like, well, I could only be with an intelligent woman, and intelligent women would know better than to date somebody like me.
Oh, Joe.
But, I mean, the truth of it is, like, I'm just very comfortable in the life I have right now. And, like, it would take somebody very, very special to make me want to change that.
Yeah. Yeah, dating is true. My mom always says it's a wonder that the human race ever continues. Because, man, is this stuff tricky. And actually, the birth rates among educated urbanites is plummeting. Yeah. Just for this reason. Like, we're going to die out.
It's going to be idiocracy.
Honestly, yes. Because we've stopped, having babies.
I know, and it's like I feel bad about that because it's like, oh man, I should really contribute to the gene pool in some way because I'm awesome.
Yeah, you are.
But, like, at the same time, I'm like, yeah, my brother's got 2 kids. Family line's already settled.
Wait, you do know how this works, right? You have to replace yourself. He only replaced himself and his wife.
Well, there's the family line, and my brother and his wife are both awesome, so...
All right.
Okay.
Well, but you have to replace yourself now.
Yeah, I know. Where is cloning technology? Come on.
Do I need to explain math to you?
No.
Every person has to have 1 child, or else the numbers decrease.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, Japan is having that problem right now, because, like, nobody is having kids, and, like, nobody's having kids, and everybody's living longer, so it's like you have this much older population. And, like, it's gotten to the point now where, like, people in Japan are actually kind of worried about this.
No, it's going to be a problem, absolutely. What was that movie that came out last summer with Matt Damon?
There were a couple.
One where they go up to the perfect spaceship.
Oh, Elysium.
Yes, I found that so interesting. And they didn't really talk about the demographic shift in the movie, but it was obvious what had happened.
Yeah.
What we're talking about. Like, educated
absolutely.
people stop having kids. Uneducated people keep having them. Again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of this.
Right.
But it's going to cause a shift in demographics.
It definitely is. And, like, I sort of felt like, and maybe I'm misremembering this, but in Elysium up on the station, people weren't breeding in the normal way. Like, it's sort of...
Good question. They were kids, but...
There were kids, but, like, I don't feel like they may not have said so explicitly, but I felt like it was implied that this is done through scientific manipulation.
That would make sense to have more perfect children.
Yeah.
To not have the pain of childbirth. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have been a very interesting movie.
It wasn't. It was an interesting movie up until the third act.
Yes.
And
with
then,
one of the more disgusting things I've ever seen that stayed on screen for 5 minutes, too.
Yeah.
That was not okay.
Yeah.
I can't get that out of my brain.
It kind of fell apart at the end, which was a shame because I really loved the concept. And I thought the execution, for the most part, was very well done, except for the ending and Jodie Foster's accent. Oh God!
Yeah, what was that?
like Jodie, what are you doing? You're better than this.
She was trying something new.
She was trying something new, but it might have worked if anybody else on the station talked like that.
Fair enough. But she's Jodie Foster, so
yeah, I know. It's
whatever.
like, you know, like Jodie Foster and Meryl Streep, basically neither of them can do any wrong as far as I'm concerned.
Not really.
And Jodie Foster actually directed an episode of House of Cards this season.
Really? Oh, yeah. I can't wait to
watch it. I binged that thing in 2 days.
No spoilers.
I'm so bad. I'm like we were joking about it last night. Everybody savors it. I devour it. I went through season 2 of House of Cards in 2 days.
Wow, I haven't even started.
It was so good. It was so good. Like, I'm like waiting for everybody to catch up so I can talk about it. I'm like, oh man, I went through this too fast.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we're not actually talking about love or dating here. We're getting into all sorts of social issues.
This is what happens. This is what happens on these shows. Let's see. Jan is saying, "Did you like District 9 then?"
Oh, I was gonna say District 9 was amazing.
Oh yeah,
and did a much more interesting job of talking about things.
It did. Like at the same time, I felt like the third act was a little weak. With what's his name going into the alien suit, but I thought like it still worked.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely worked. I really enjoyed it a lot.
It totally worked, and Jan is saying I think it was produced by Peter Jackson. Indeed, it was. So you know, there's that Lord of the Rings connection. But yeah, I loved District 9. I enjoyed Elysium. I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
No. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad or anything. I just felt like it had a lot of potential to get into some things it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't quite go all the places I was hoping it would go.
Well, they turned it into an action movie.
Yeah.
There's a million action movies. We didn't need another one.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Like, well, I mean, I felt the same way about, which I still haven't seen, but the remake of RoboCop.
Which I haven't seen the original.
You haven't seen the original?
No, I know. I'm terrible person.
You have to see the original. It's so good.
But I don't like violence and gore, so
okay.
There's that.
Okay, then you might have a problem.
I may not enjoy it.
But yeah, like somebody was joking about because the original RoboCop was like this really sort of biting, subversive satire.
I've heard that with the over the top
on popular culture, and like, but at the same time, like created like this very good human story and a solid action movie with it being very subversive and satirical, and then the remake comes out and everybody starts making the joke. Okay, if you really want to see a movie out right now that is a subversive satire of popular culture, go see the Lego Movie. Which is ironic since that was the movie that was designed to be a 90-minute commercial.
Was it though?
Well, I mean, that's the whole reason it came to be in the first place, was they wanted a Lego Movie to
I don't know anything
to
about
promote the toys. And so they were like, okay. But like that was like, I cite this and Clue as examples of when people complain like, oh, you can't make a good movie based on a toy, or you can't make a good movie based on a board game. I'm like, yes, you can. You just need to do it right.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Battleship did not do it right, but
no, I love Transformers. I know not everyone does.
All right,
first one. Let me clarify, not the other one.
The first one I thought was okay.
Okay, I super enjoyed it.
Okay,
but it was just fun.
Yeah,
definition of fun.
It was. I will agree with you that it was fun.
Okay.
But yeah, the other two.
I didn't see 3, but 2 was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Awful.
3 was a little bit better, but not by much.
Yeah, I still don't need to see it.
I have no desire to see 4, even if they're bringing the Dinobots into it.
But dinosaurs!
Yeah, but they just look like the same jagged mess that all the other Transformers are. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like, oh man, like I saw, like they had a shot of Optimus Prime riding what I'm assuming is Grimlock, because it was like a T-Rex type dinosaur.
Okay.
And I was like, oh god, what have you done?
On that note, I want to get that t-shirt. Have you seen the t-shirt with the T-Rexes with the little the like claw things where you squeeze it and have a hand? It says
Unstoppable! Yes.
That is like my favorite shirt of all time.
I love that one.
Yeah, every time I see it, I'm like, that is so good.
I was like, I've been addicted to like those personality quizzes that everybody's posting now.
Everyone is doing it. I haven't done any.
I've been taking way too many of them, and like one of them was, what dinosaur are you? I got the T-Rex.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm the king of the dinosaurs with comically small arms. So yeah, so I guess we're kind of winding down now.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Austen. I feel like how could we not talk about?
We can talk about Austen.
On a February book club.
Well, let's talk about Austen.
Well, because I was thinking today about literature I would recommend for people, and I feel like every movie
we got a little distracted. Yeah,
we did.
Yeah,
I feel like every book or movie that I love about romance is always based. It always goes back to Austen.
Okay.
Like I was thinking about Bridget Jones' Diary, based on Pride and Prejudice. I was thinking about Clueless, great movie
based on Emma.
I mean, all of the adaptations have all been fantastic of the ones that have come out. And then Austenland is like blown up right now because it just came on video. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not seen it. No.
Charming movie, charming book, all about a woman obsessed with Austen and not living her own life.
Yeah,
she's so obsessed with the romance in it.
Because I don't know anybody like that.
Not at all. But I was thinking about it. There's something. I mean, maybe it's unrealistic, but there's also a sense in the relationships in those books were sort of healthy. In a way. I mean,
in a way. Like,
yeah,
I sort of felt like Darcy was kind of a jerk for...
But was he? When you actually look at his behavior? I don't know that he's any more of a jerk than she was being. I think,
I suppose.
They were both proud and they were both prejudiced.
No, that's a fair point.
And I think that they really grew to respect and love each other.
Well, I think what made him seem like a jerk, when you put it that way, is that the story was being told from her perspective.
Exactly. And she didn't know. And
right.
And it depends on which adaptation you read. Like the most recent movie, I think, did a really great job of him explaining himself. Like he was trying to protect his friend.
Okay.
And he was living in that society where there were certain rules of conduct. And he wasn't wrong. Mm-hmm. Like her family was kind of an embarrassment.
No, that's true.
And we didn't know that Jane loved his friend. So I don't know. I don't know that he did anything wrong.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I just love those books so much.
Okay.
And like something like Mansfield Park is such an interesting, unusual romance.
I still have never watched Mansfield Park. I've tried watching it, but I don't know. Maybe I just need to be in the right mood for it.
You do. It's very dark.
It's dark, and it starts off very slowly.
Yeah.
Like it takes a while, like really, like pick up the pace or like get anything going, and I didn't have the patience for it. Yeah. But I should revisit it.
You should. I really like that movie a lot.
So Temple is saying that the lady who wrote Austenland won a Newbery Award for some of her young readers' books. Mm-hmm. That's very cool.
Yeah, she's an interesting lady. I got to go to the Q&A when the movie came out.
Oh,
it was really interesting to hear about it.
Cool.
I really want to see the movie again, actually.
I should probably check it out just for contextual purposes.
It's fun. I don't know if it's more than fun, but it's definitely fun.
Okay. All right. Fun is good. So, I like fun.
And I must say, I love Bridget Jones' Diaries. Mm-hmm. Both the book and the movie.
Okay. I heard they're doing a third one. Am I wrong?
Yes, and apparently I don't know if I want to... I mean, there was a huge spoiler that came out about what happens in it, which maybe I won't raise. But
maybe not.
Huge, big deal that, how could she do this thing? So, but I think maybe she's writing it. It's not out.
Oh, okay.
That sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I really don't know.
Yeah, and of course in Bridget Jones, the main character is much less likable in a sense than Elizabeth was in the books. Because she's flighty and selfish and all sorts of things.
Yeah. Like I've only seen part of the movie. I haven't read the books, but like she definitely struck me as like a very self-involved,
very
type of character.
Well, she's like a modern Elizabeth. In a sense, Elizabeth was too.
Oh
in
yeah,
the books when you look at it from that point of view.
Well, I mean, Elizabeth was definitely the embodiment of pride.
Yes.
And I think from that pride comes the prejudice. Mm-hmm. But. Yeah, there was definitely like that aspect to her.
Yeah, she's great though, and again, a flawed character, which is part of why that's gone on for so long. Yeah. They're both flawed, but they're beautiful.
Now, what I found interesting was, I guess the BBC was doing a miniseries based on what I'm assuming is a book that was supposed to be the sequel to Pride and Prejudice.
Okay.
And I can't. The title escapes me right now. I watched 2 episodes of it. And it really struck me as like just really well done Pride and Prejudice fanfic.
Really?
Because basically this is like after they've been married for a number of years, they have kids, and it's a murder mystery with Darcy being the guy trying to solve the murder.
Oh, that sounds kind of terrible. But all right.
Meanwhile, there's like a lot of tension going on between him and Elizabeth because neither of them are happy with the way their lives panned out.
Oh, see, I hate follow-ups like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah. I mean, I only watched 2 episodes, but I was like, okay, is this a drama? Is this a murder mystery? What is going on here?
Interesting. Okay, so let's not recommend that to people.
I would probably not recommend that one.
We just want to pretend they live happily ever after.
Well, exactly. And that's how it is with a lot of these romance stories, is that they are to a certain degree just like wish fulfillment. Because I mean that's the reason you write it, because like you want to like sort of put out that fantasy.
Well, certainly in her case, you know, her love that never was fulfilled.
Yeah. Let's see. Temple is asking, was it based on Mr. Darcy Takes a Wife? It was not Mr. Darcy Takes a Wife. It was like it was a death at some location. It was the title of it. There are a lot of sequels that people have written of Austen's work. Mm-hmm. I can believe that. But this one was like officially adapted by the BBC with like big, beautiful production values. I mean, it looked like something from like Downton Abbey.
Oh, Downton Abbey.
Love Downton Abbey. I am
not watching this season because I don't have TV.
Oh my god.
I don't have cable.
Oh no.
I saw the first episode.
Okay.
Or as my friend calls it, the show where British people are mean to each other.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I can't dispute that claim.
I know, right. But you don't understand.
No, there is so much more to Downton Abbey.
That is for sure.
Like, and like this season got pretty dark.
What? It wasn't dark before?
Oh, no.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil, but yeah, it gets pretty dark.
Wow. All right.
Like dark for Downton Abbey.
So I'm not sure I want to watch this anymore then. I'm still torn up after Matthew.
Yeah. Like it was funny. I actually there's another show on the One Ring called Happy Hobbit. And the girls who do that, they live up in near Santa Cruz. Mm-hmm. And I went up to visit them for one of their birthdays. And it happened to coincide with the British premiere of season 3 of Downton Abbey. Okay. And so I brought the first episode along with me, and we all watched it together, and we were just like yelling at the TV whenever anybody mentioned like how grief-stricken they were over Matthew's death. It's like, that's because he left. He's a jerk.
That guy, I think he's gonna get work. Come on.
Oh god, yeah, that's karma. His career kind of crashed and burned after that.
You gotta be careful about that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happened with Denise Crosby when she left Star Trek.
Oh, that was such a good episode, though.
It was a good episode.
Yeah, that was worth her dying. That was a great episode.
Well, what made that episode so cool was like it just like happened. Like there was no like build up. There was no like, ooh, we know somebody's like there was no foreshadowing of it. It just happened, and like it kind of took a second because like, and I remember watching the preview for that episode before it aired, and like they tease it by saying the crew will say a final farewell to one of their own.
Okay. And
then they show the shot of Riker being pulled down into the tar pit. And so the whole week I'm thinking, oh my god, Riker's gonna die. And so I'm like watching it, like expecting like Riker is going to die, and I'm like bracing myself for it. And then they kill Yar. Yeah. And I was like, well played, Star Trek. I was not expecting that. But yeah, like, and then she spent so much time trying to come back onto the show in some very weird and awkward ways.
Yes.
Temple is saying, "Death Comes to Pemberley." That's it. That's the adaptation.
Good title.
They're doing. It's a good title. Not a good story. So, and like, there are some interesting romances on Star Trek now that I think about it.
Yes.
Like, the one that I never liked was the season 7 romance between Troy and Worf.
Oh yeah, sometimes shows do not do things right.
Yeah, that one. Well, that was just a mistake from the get-go, and like it all started with this one episode where Worf was going through different alternate dimensions, and he ends up spending time in this one alternate dimension where he is married to Troy and they have a kid together, and after everything is done, everything is solved, like he sort of lingers on that, and he's like, I find myself more attracted to Troy than I thought I would be, and so he asks her out. And then it goes on to like this very weird, awkward relationship that lasts like maybe 2 episodes.
It reminds me of Rachel and Joey on Friends. That was always like, no, why?
Yeah.
No, just stop.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah. But then like you have other great ones like Picard and Crusher.
So good. We all just sigh over that one.
Yeah. Crusher Picard.
That was a very Austin-ish, actually, relationship.
I still loved, I think we were talking about it last night, like, we were, the very second episode of season 1, The Naked Now.
Oh.
When everybody is basically acting drunk. And, and Picard and Crusher just start hardcore flirting with each other, and it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, those two are hot.
And Temple is saying Worf and Dax. That's one of the greatest.
That was more interesting. Yeah,
I really like that one. That was on Deep Space Nine. And that was a fantastic romance.
Well, maybe that was the problem with Troy. She was so sweet and emotional that it didn't make sense.
And she just had like this very long history with Riker, and it always seemed like, well, it's obvious the two of them are going to get together at some point.
So why are you distracting us with this?
Yeah, and of course they don't get together until the horrible movies, but.
Although I love that scene in Insurrection where they're just like in the tub together. It's like,
yep. Although, like, that's still, like, it always bugs me because, like, he kisses her and she's like, oh, I've never kissed you with a beard before. And there was this review on, I think, the Nostalgia Critic where they then show every clip from TNG where she has kissed Riker with a beard.
I don't remember that quote. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know. Dear commercials, I hate you. Signed me. Yes, I'm sorry, Temple. So yeah, we've discussed Austin. We discussed romance in the real world and the fiction world. Jan is saying, don't you have a lot of commercials during TV shows in the U.S.? Yes, but we all have DVRs now.
Yeah, so we don't watch them anymore.
We don't watch commercials.
Although I watch things online now, I'm more likely to watch a commercial online.
So well, yeah, because it's like maybe a 10-second break.
No, some of them are like 2 minutes.
Really?
Some of the networks have longer breaks in them.
Oh, okay.
They're obnoxious.
I usually just watch stuff on Hulu Plus.
Okay.
And with Hulu Plus, like, your commercial breaks are like maybe 30 seconds, a minute long. I'm like, with 2 commercials, that I can deal with.
Yeah.
Although, like, I swear to God, like, if I see another one of those, like, damn Toyota commercials.
They always replay the same ones over and over and over again.
I know. It
drives me crazy.
And it's even worse if you're watching something on Blip TV.
Okay.
Because they will show you the same damn Disneyland ad over and over and over again in every commercial break.
Then you start hating the product.
Well, like, it got to the point now where, like, I had that commercial so memorized, like, there was, like, it would just pop into my head randomly. And it's, like, it's the commercial with Buzz Lightyear, like, exploring the park. And I'm like, oh, just stop. It
was cute the first time.
I love you, Disneyland. Don't do this to me. Jan is saying, we don't have all those cool services. Netflix is also very limited compared to the one you have. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Jan lives in Denmark.
Ooh. Well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have an international audience.
Wow. I've been to Denmark.
I guess we can kind of come to the end here.
Oh, all right.
The episode, we usually try to keep it to around an hour.
Okay.
But that is interesting that the commercials and Netflix are so different internationally. Huh. Interesting indeed. So, well, thank you, Dina, for coming on. I hope everybody enjoyed our discussion. This has been really scatterbrain conversation, but that's all right. I like that. I like scatterbrain conversations.
We had an shiny podcast.
Yes. That's kind of how all of our conversations go. It's
we're geeks. That's what we do.
Yeah, pretty much. But thank you so much for coming on and
pleasure.
Keeping this from just being me yapping at the computer.
Of course.
And just to let everybody know, scheduling-wise, normally we do the show every 2 weeks. So the next episode would be on March 2nd. But March 2nd is also Oscar Day, which is Torn Oscar Party Day, and also my best friend's wedding day. So I will not be here to do the show on that day. So we're going to push our next episode to March 9th. And there we'll have the winner for the Jane Austen Rewrite Tolkien. We'll have our discussion on The Fall of Arthur. Hopefully we'll have my friend come in to read the Austen entry for us. I stole the one ring and saying, "Oh, that was quick. It's over already." Oh, that's very sweet of you. It is funny how time flies when there is just such a huge geeky conversation going on.
Well, I can come back.
You're more than welcome to anytime. You don't live that far away now.
No, I don't.
See, Jan is saying 14 days is a long time to wait for the next show. So we can meet up here every week just to chat about favorite books, movies, and so on. Just an idea. Yes, and Jan has suggested that before. And I think that would be a great idea, just to have a chat or something like that. And I know that I have promised to do podcasts and other shorter videos in the weeks in between this. That hasn't happened mostly because I spend 50 to 60 hours every week at work. I'm working on a couple really big titles, and it's taking up a lot of my time right now. So I apologize. I know I promised all these things, and I do want to deliver them to you. I did shoot a whole bunch of stuff in Disneyland to sort of outline how ringers can turn a day in Disneyland into a quest through Middle Earth. And there was actually one interesting thing that I discovered was, and it's not in Disneyland, it's in California Adventure. They actually have a straight up Karok from The Hobbit.
Really?
Which is, I don't know if you're familiar with what the Karok is.
I don't think so.
It's the mountain that the eagles drop them off on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's supposed to be in the shape of a bear to signify Beorn.
Interesting. Yeah, and they totally do with the.
And Grizzly River Rapids has a mountain behind it that's in a very subtle shape of a grizzly bear that almost looks like the one from The Hobbit.
Interesting.
So I did get a couple pictures of that because I was just walking around and saw that. I was like, oh my god, that is the Karok from The Hobbit, straight up. Everything else was kind of okay, I really a lot of it is forced, but it's still fun. I do the Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean as ways to summon the armies of the dead.
Okay.
I found a good solid lake town on the Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer's Island.
Ah, makes sense.
And there's Tarzan's treehouse that you climb to get your bearings, like Bilbo does in Mirkwood. It's all very it's a stretch, it's a reach, but you know what? It's still fun.
Yeah.
Actually, the hardest thing was determining which mountain should be which. Which one is the Lonely Mountain? Which one is Mount Doom? I made my determination, and you'll have to wait for the video to find out which is which.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll get that video edited in time and online in time for Ringer Day at Disneyland, so that everybody has fun stuff they can do. Jan is saying, you were on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride? It's my dream.
Oh. Come visit.
Yeah, you should totally visit. It's a fun ride. I go to Disneyland every year for my birthday, and Pirates of the Caribbean is always one of the rides that I definitely go on.
it's still a classic, despite the addition of the new stuff.
Yeah. I actually was, like, amused by the fact that when the fourth movie came out, they added a lot of Blackbeard to the ride.
Mm.
And then after the movie did not do so well among fans, they kind of subtly, like, started removing Blackbeard from it.
Yeah, I never even saw
it. Yeah, that's all for now. So our next episode, our next live episode will be on March 9th. And I know that's a long time, and I'll try to keep the conversation going on Twitter and on Facebook. I want to thank everybody for showing up and chatting. Jan, Temple, I Stole the One Ring. Eva, thank you so much for your amazing art that we're now using on the show. It's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you, Dina, for coming.
My pleasure. And
hopefully you'll be back for another one.
Sure.
Eva is already saying, I hope you'll be back.
Aw, thanks everyone.
So that brings us to the end, and thank you so much, and we'll see you on the 9th, and never stop reading.